In the previous films, Josh and Benny Safdie directed together, there was a level of intensity that came from the ill-fated decisions made by their characters. Even now, directing solo, Josh Safdie maintains that sort of chaos in the story of a ping pong player. Marty Supreme is a fascinating character study exploring someone heavily flawed who brings so much of these terrible events onto himself. However, it is possible to take someone largely unlikable and turn them into a protagonist worth following. Further helped by a brilliant performance by Timothee Chalamet, Marty Supreme finds humor in these wild events even as things get more stressful. From the start, Safdie and co-writer Ronald Bronstein pull one into this 1950s New York. We follow ping pong player Marty Mauser through pretty much the entire film, and he becomes an engaging personality even as he says some horrible things and acts like a twerp. Chalamet finds a way to make his repulsive persona into a layered character who has an impressive ability at angering everyone he comes across. He lives in this world where he thinks everyone should bow down to him, and there remains a curiosity about what new mess he will drag himself into. This is the kind of role that Robert De Niro might have played in the 70s and 80s with particular shades of the king of comedy. Safdie keeps things moving with his direction, always making things engaging and injecting a twisted sense of humor. It's a sort of movie that under the wrong execution would have been off-putting, but instead builds a fascination in his various escapades. A common theme in Marty Supreme is how his constant lies come back to hurt him, and it's hilarious how the story twists his fibs and other terrible decisions into a comic scenario. However, we also see how his tangling with the wrong people becomes a problem. We're so often used to cunning characters who can weasel their way out of any situation because they're the lead protagonist. However, shown in his previous films, Safdie is not interested in that. Actions have consequences, and yet Marty is one of those people who struggles to learn, almost like he's one of the main characters on Seinfeld. The ping pong sequences provide some of the best moments in Marty Supreme, with Safdie gaining plenty of excitement out of the sport, although part of that also comes from Marty's John McEnroe-like behavior. His relationships with other characters are also fully explored, including his affair with a former movie icon and his relationship with a childhood friend he impregnates. Odessa Zion is especially good at showing Rachel's frequent frustrations with Marty, even as she sticks by him. Marty Supreme is a movie that maintains its intensity through the entire runtime and especially manages to dig into its heavily flawed title character. It makes this pompous, full-of-himself individual into someone we want to follow to see what next explosive occurrence will befall him. We often see the rise and fall story depicted on screen. Well, this gives us a little rise and fall, then another fall, and so on. It's impressive seeing someone constantly make the wrong decision, and Josh Safdie depicts this in an entertainingly and darkly hilarious manner. It takes the story of someone with an enormous amount of drive, but shows that is not enough to overcome the frequent holes Marty digs into, and there remains an interest in what happens to him next.